Hello everyone, my name is Cherie and I am here to do my June wrap up. For the month of June, I read 6 books and I pretty much liked every single book that I read, so that's a pretty good month for me. The first book that I read is Magonia by Dahvana Headley. This is a story of a girl named Aza. She has this rare lung disease that she's had since she was pretty much little, and the doctors just pretty much just throw drugs at her, everything to keep her alive. When she goes to see the doctor, they do tell her that you might not make it until her next birthday. Well, one day, Aza is sitting in class and she hears something or someone say her name, and it freaks her out, but she doesn't know who's saying it. So no one in the class has said it. And then she looks up in the sky and she sees a ship and she freaks out even more. Her family and friends and the doctors tell her she is probably hallucinating and it could be a side effect from the drugs and everything that she's taking. But one day something happens where she actually ends up on that ship and her lung disease is gone. She can breathe easily, and yeah, this was a weird book, but I also thought it was an awesome book. I really enjoyed it. I really liked the perspective from Aza as well as her friend Jason. I really liked hearing both their perspectives because once Aza goes in the ship, we do get to hear from Jason, his point of view and everything. And I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was something different and something refreshing, and I believe I gave this a 4 out of 5. The next book I read in the month of June is City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. This is the first book in the Moral Instruments series. I'm pretty sure most of you know what this series is about. Shadowhunters, this girl, she sees Shadowhunters, no one else can see them, her mother disappears. In this book, she has to try to find out what happened to her mother. I did enjoy this book. I would consider it like a popcorn read, like a popcorn movies. When I found out the series is going to be turned into a TV show, I figured why don't I just get the series and see what it's about. So I do own the other books in the series on my shelf, and I do plan on reading pretty much most of it this summer. And I did enjoy this book. There was some info dump in here. Actually, not just some, there was a lot of info dump in here, but it was still enjoyable, and I gave this a 3 out of 5. Next book I read in the month is Half Resurrection Blues by Daniel Jose Older. This is an adult fantasy novel. It's actually the first book in the series. It tells the story of Carlos. He is an in-betweener. He was half resurrected after a death that he doesn't really remember. He doesn't really remember anything that happened before he died either. And he is an agent for the New York Council of the Dead, and they send him on a mission to take care of someone, to pretty much kill someone. And when he gets there, he finds out that the person he was sent to take care of is just like him. And then he starts to meet other in-betweeners and everything. And then he meets another in-betweener who is pretty much trying to change the world. He's trying to close the gap between the dead and the living, and Carlos is trying to stop it. I enjoyed this book. This is, I would say, maybe my first adult urban fantasy, like adult urban fantasy in mass market. And I did enjoy it. I thought it was a good read. I do plan on continuing the series. The book did make me laugh. I did like Carlos' perspective. It is told in his perspective. And I just really enjoyed it. I believe I gave this a 3.5 out of 5. I have a reread. I read this last summer, and I actually kind of had some issues with it when I read it last summer. But I feel like it just wasn't the right time for me to read it then. And I'm so happy I decided to pick back up. And that book is The Magicians by Lev Grossman. I loved this book the second time around. This is the story of a boy named Quentin. When we meet him and his friend James are on their way to have their college interviews. And something happens when they get there. There's something wrong with the person who's supposed to be interviewing them. The paramedics come, and there's a paramedic that is acting really strange. And she actually hands both of them these envelopes, trying to pass off that she found them. And Quentin takes his envelope, but James does not take his. While Quentin is walking home, he opens the envelope, and there's like this piece of paper that flies out of his hand. He's trying to catch up with it, and somehow he ends up standing in front of this school. and the school that he's in front of is called Break Bells. It is an exclusive school of magic. And this book details Quentin's time at Break Bells and also talks about his obsession with this children's series, kind of like the Chronicles of Narnia for us. It's called Fillory and Further, and he's obsessed with it because in that series, just like the Chronicles of Narnia, there's this family of children who end up going to this other world, and Quentin has been obsessed trying to figure out whether he could get to that world, and he pretty much figures out whether it's possible in this book. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I enjoyed this book. I loved it. I enjoyed the characters. Yes, they did get on my nerves. They really did. But I figured they might act the way students who would actually go to an exclusive magic school, I feel like they would act the way that the kids acted in this book. I gave this book a 4.5 out of 5. The next book I read in June is The Mime Order by Samantha Shannon. This is the second book in the Bone Season series. There are 7 books in this series. I don't want to spoil this book if you haven't read the Bone Season or this one. I will tell you about the Bone Season. It follows Paige Mahoney. She is a natural, and being an unnatural in London is pretty much illegal. When they find you, they put you in jail. One day she is on a train on her way home and something happens. It's like she ends up finding her way home and the police come and then she gets apprehended, and the next minute she knows, she winds up in this place where there are these people called the Refame. They are not of this world, and learns about their world. She learns why she's in place here, and she just tries to escape. And I really enjoyed that book last summer, and I really enjoyed this one this summer. I will say it was a little slower than the Bone Season, but it did go more in depth, and it did open the world more, which I did enjoy, and I gave this book a 4 out of 5. And the last book I read in June is Ready Player One by Ernest, Cline. This tells the story of a future world. It's dystopian. It's based in 2044. What the people do in this world, as well as our main protagonist, Wade, they go into a virtual reality. And in this virtual reality, they can do many things. They can go to school, they can go to work, they can hang out with friends. It's kind of like a virtual world and a social network at the same time. The creator of this world, actually, before this book started, he passed away. After he passed away, there's this video that went out. Pretty much letting everyone know I have pretty much like a treasure hunt. Whoever completes the treasure hunt inherits my estate. So everyone has been trying to find out what the first clue is, and our main character Wade, he actually finds the first clue. And then he goes on a journey to try to figure out how to get to the end. And he gets closer to some of the friends he already has. He makes new friends. He makes new enemies that would do anything to be the first to get to the end, as well as kill people. I really, really enjoyed this book. I loved all the 80s references. There are a bunch of 80s references in this. It felt like a video game, which I loved. The fact that it felt like a video game. I don't know. I just really liked it. It made me laugh. I appreciated it because of all the nostalgia reasons in this book. And yeah, I just really liked it, and I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. So yeah, these are the books that I read in June. Let me know if you guys have read these books and what you thought of them, or if you want me to go more in depth with how I feel about any of these books, and I'll do a review on them. But that's all I have for now, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye! Hello! My name is Cherie, and I will be doing the BookTube newbie